Well, hello everybody, and welcome to my channel. My name is Stephen the Jupiterian here with your full moon report, which is happening. This full moon is happening on April 12th. And on the in the United States. If you're in Europe, it'll be on the 13th. And I will have this, and I will be sharing with you the planetary time clock of that moment right now. Here we go for San Francisco, California, which is the west coast of the United States. And we have Virgo rising at the moment. This full moon in Libra will be occurring at 23 degrees and 20 minutes. The sun at 23 degrees and 20 minutes of Aries, which is going to be making a square to Mars at 27 degrees of Cancer and 55 minutes, almost 28 degrees. It's still within orb. It's 4 degrees away. And Chiron is trailing behind at 23 degrees. It was at 22 degrees, the sun and Chiron, the day before, I believe. Let's move this into days, and there you go. Yes, the sun is, and then if you move it into a day, the sun goes over Chiron, and it is following the sun. It is in front of the sun on the 11th. On the 12th, it's ahead of Chiron. Venus is still retrograde until later this evening on Saturday. And we have a trine from Mercury to Mars, the North Node to Mars, Saturn to Mars, Venus to Mars. So every planet in Pisces, this stellium of planets, there are 3 of them in there, 3 or more. Sometimes some astrologers say 4 or more, but a stellium is 3 or more planets in one sign. We have Mercury. Well, we'll start with Venus. Then Saturn, the North Node, which is not a planet, and Mercury, which is a planet. It's only planets that are in this stellium. This is this descendant, which, well, we really don't need that because this is not a birth chart. I can take that out. Why not? Display aspect, ascendant, descendant. The MC and the IC we can take out right now. It says we're not going to need those because this isn't a person. This is an event. A full moon event happening on the 12th. And Virgo will be on the rise on the West Coast. Adjust for your time zone, because it's not going to be Virgo rising on the East Coast. I can share this. Actually, let's edit this chart. And let's go to Manhasset, New York, and we'll calculate that. And well, let's see. This is at 20 degrees, right? So the 12th, so it's not, yes, we're going backwards because it's actually 23 degrees, 20 minutes. Scorpio will be rising at this time, right? I believe. Let's see. Actually, let's move this back into minutes. Scorpio rising, yes. Yep. Scorpio will be rising on the East Coast. This I put it in Manhasset, New York, but that's all the East Coast from Maine to Florida. Where Scorpio will be on the rise on the East Coast. So if you're in Europe, let's select, let's edit that and go to a place in do 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 do. All right. Well, let's put in uh um, huh. Oop. Okay. Let's go to North hmm. London and calculate that. We'll have Libra will be on the rise in the United Kingdom, London, Libra, here in London, which is interesting. So we went from Virgo to Libra, to Scorpio, and then Libra. Interesting. All right. Well, now that we're on Libra, why not? We'll leave it on here because Libra, this full moon is happening in your sign. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. No, we have to go ahead. We have to go ahead out in hours because it'll be on the 13th in Libra. Correct. Yes. It'll be Sagittarius rising. Sorry. it'll be the 13th. The full moon will be in Libra with Sagittarius rising. Sorry. That'll be Sagittarius rising on in the U UT time or universal time. I think maybe, oh, wait a minute. Let's put this in Greenwich. Let's edit this. Let's go to Greenwich. How about whoopsie. All right. Why not? Let's go to Kent. Select. Hmm. No. Select. How about we go? Uh, all right. Sorry, everybody. United Kingdom. There we go. Is that right? No. All right. Or BST, British Standard Time, I guess. Okie dokie. Uh, all right. Well, I give up. All right, let's try this again. All right, I'm going back to, you know what? I'm gonna, yeah, make this easy. Let's go to um uh you know what? Let's go to Pennsylvania. All right, let's go to um Allentown, Pennsylvania. Hey, that's where my father was born in in near Allentown, Pennsylvania. So we have Capricorn rising on the 13th, but let's go back a day and ahead out in hours. Where the sun will be at 23 degrees and 20 minutes. Where we have Scorpio rising. At least, let's go back back in minutes, yes. So it's be Scorpio rising, yes. Allentown, PA, Pennsylvania. Why the heck not? Somewhere different on the East Coast. Scorpio rising. Where this moon will be. Yeah, see how the difference in your time zone, all you have to do is just type your time place of where you are and it'll calculate where you go. Actually, you can even do this on astro.com, astroseek.com too, and it'll give you this chart. All right, now that I fooled around with that enough, let's get to it. So okay, we know that it starts at 23 degrees and 20 minutes. This full moon in Libra. Let's start with Aries. 20, make believe this is 23 degrees, 20 minutes. We're starting in Aries. Well, this stellium of planets in Pisces are in the 12th house of things that are hidden, things that are overseas, foreign places, things that are other outside of your view, offshore thing, offshore accounts. The 12th house is also the house of self-undoing. Aries rising. So yeah, this full moon is in your 7th house of other people, your spouse, clients, one-to-one relationships, all types of one-to-one relationships. Pluto is not making an opposition to Mars. Mars isn't opposing Pluto just yet because that's not exactly within in an opposition. If Mars was in Leo, that would be a different story. This just decided to do this because it's within the degree of an opposition. But it's not, I don't consider it an opposition until Mars moves into Leo, which will be on the 17th of April, next week, to be exact. So we have this Sun, Mars square. And then all these Pisces planets are making a trine to Mars, which is a very good thing. A water trine. It's going to be a very, excuse me, a very emotional time. But actions and things getting done, and your Mercury at 27 degrees of Pisces still is in detriment and in its fall. Not a great place for Mercury to be in. But, hey, until Mercury moves into Aries, back into Aries, it'll be conjunct Neptune. And then I'll move ahead. All right, let's see. And the moon is making a trine to Jupiter, an air trine, so communications, one-to-one communicate in communications with a spouse will be very good at the moment. Your emotions and your emotions and the moon, feeling how you're feeling in this area of your chart, and Jupiter, how making abundant communications with siblings, your neighbors, maybe writing a writing project that you are collaborating with someone, because the third house is writing. 11 and Libra is collaboration with another person, and and a relationship with another person. So this is a good time for Aries. If you want to write something, you can collaborate with people. Perfect time for that. All right, let's see. Moving on to Taurus. Well, this is happening in your 12th house of self-undoing. Well, no, the sun isn't there, but the moon is in your house of work, your routines, even how you emotional, are you emotionally in tune with the work you're doing? And the second house and your money and making money, your finances, are they in sync with each other? It's a good time to be in sync with your money and work. But your career is a 10th house. So if you have a planet at 16, 17 degrees, at least around there, and the 10th house, you would have to have a grand trine here. But this is not making grand trine in this. But if you did have planets in Aquarius at around the 16, 17, 18, 19, possibly even 20, or even up to 15 degrees, 13 degrees, that's a stretch. But all these Pisces planets in your 11th house of friends, benefactors, your monetary gains from your career, and organizations you are affiliated with, or protests. Well, 11th house could be like organization for protest, but trine Mars. Mars can be aggressive. And these especially Pisces, Venus and Pisces, is not as aggressive as Mars, which is good. And Saturn is bringing some stability. And Mercury, well, it's in Pisces. You might not be seeing all the details at the moment in your 11th house. Yeah, so, and we have what's going on here. So we went through the Mars, Moon, and Jupiter. All right, let's move on to Gemini. Gemini. Well, hey, Gemini, this moon, full moon is actually making a really great aspect. Well, in the beginning of the day, in the morning, and then when it gets the 23 degrees, it won't be trying that anymore. But it's going to be all of this water, Venus, Saturn, Mercury, trine Mars energy. That's the big emotional thing for you right now, is with your career and money, finances. Are you spending too much on, are you cutting down on your spending? But the focus is on your 10th house and public reputation, career, aspirations, getting a promotion. If you haven't already, you're getting a promotion. Um, and the moon in your 5th house is about children, creativity, procreation, casual relationships, casual sex, entrepreneurial endeavors. And the 11th house is gains, making a gain from your career endeavors, and or actually maybe your hobbies. A hobby could become very lucrative small business, or something that you're doing on the side other than your career, Gemini. Because you, Geminis, you could have a career and you could also have a side hustle. And this is a really good thing for you to get your hobbies to align with your 11th house. Okay, moving on. Cancer. Cancer rising. Well, this full moon is in your 4th house. You will be feeling so much in your, with you may, well, you'll feel, you will be more communicative with your family members, your home. You'll be feeling comfortable, more comfortable, and maybe, could be, feeling comfortable at home. Since it's going to be starting with a trine to Jupiter, which is in the 12th house. Jupiter in 12th house, well, that's not too bad. Jupiter in the 12th house. Actually, you are tapping into the another dimension here, Jupiter and Gemini. Uh, so this could be interesting, abundant dreams you're having right now. The 12th house is dreams, self-undoing, that dreams that are very profound, that feel like that you may feel that they are actually real and happening at home. Uh, let's see, but Mars in your first house is making it try, or all these planets in a Pisces in the ninth house of higher learning, the house of God, um, religion, philosophy, book publishing, maybe. Uh, are all trying making you may be making money in through travel or through publishing or higher education. Cancer, Mars and Cancer, you might be thinking of some kind of active, doing something active that isn't very you destructive. We think constructively. Mars is destructive at times. It can be, but you know what? You need to. Mars has another side to it. Constructive. It can be constructive. That's what I mean. It can be constructive. It could also be destructive too. Taking action, deliberate action in a constructive way instead of taking actions to destroy things, which is never a good thing. Doing things by force never works. Doing things constructively is much better than using force. All right, let's see. What else do I want to say? I think that's it. So your fourth, your ninth, and first houses are, wow, yep. Well, the sun is lighting up your 10th house too, of your public reputation. You don't want to be known to be that destructive person. You want to be known for, make sure you're being understood and seen in a positive light instead of Mars destroying things. It's not really good for your reputation here with the moon in your fourth and the sun in the 10th. You'll be feeling things at home, but do not bring them out into the public. And Mars is ruled by the sun. Yes, you do not want to, yeah, not best thing for you, Cancer, to make destructive choices. Moving on to Leo. Leo rising. This full moon in Libra is in your third house of your your things that your environment, your neighborhood, like your neighborhood, your extended family, aunts, uncles, cousins, uh, your neighborhood, things you are familiar with in your neighborhood. Which is opposed to the sun in the ninth house of philosophy. So your philosophy and their philosophy could be different. But this is a good thing because well, with Mars in your 12th house, this is bad. Actually, Mars is not as destructive here in the 12th house. It's behind the scene. Mars is doing things behind the scenes, is doing back um and deals, foreign shores. That's a good thing for Mars to be in the 12th house. You're not actually seen doing things that could be destructive. People may notice, but it won't you well, other people will notice. The eighth house is of other people. It's also a hidden house, the eighth house, and so is the 12th. This is very good for Leo because actually you could be other people's values may irk you a little bit or upset you, but Mars is dealing with things in the background. It could come up with in dreams too. Mars could bring up some kind of interesting things at the moment. So can Venus retrograde in Pisces. um, in the eighth house of money, your bank account, your inheritance could deal with an inheritance that you need to be aware, very strict and checking your credit card statements, making sure everything is paid on time. Taxes, it's tax season. But I would wait until after Saturday to do your taxes when Venus goes direct. I know tax day is the 15th. You don't have many days left, but if you haven't started, if I would, well, it's a good time to start it, but actually it's finish it after when Venus goes direct. Don't file your taxes until Venus goes direct. I will show you that after I go through all signs. We're on Leo right now. But yeah, tax season for Leo. Yeah, we're Leo rising. Yeah. And your full moon, this full moon is in your third house of siblings, yes. So a sibling younger than you, most likely. Aunts, uncles, cousins, your neighborhood neighbors, short distance travel, as opposed to long distance travel in the ninth house also. It's not only book publishing, it's also long distance travel, other cultures, other religions, um, philosophies. All right, so you may be learning about a new philosophy when Mercury moves into your ninth house. Be interesting. All right, let's move on to Virgo. Virgo, well, Virgo. This full moon is happening in your second house of money, your self-confidence, your actually, are you feeling good about your in uh the things that you possess, the things you uh accumulate, or things that you like uh food, shelter. Are you comfortable in everything? Because actually the second house is food, shelter, and water, the things you need, your basic needs are the second house. Uh Emotionally, how are you feeling about those things? And your money, especially. How I um Actually, it's not a good time to spend money or go on a um what do they call it? A uh when you go shopping and you're just spending money for shop therapy. Yes, do not do that. If you're not feeling, yeah, don't do some shop therapy here with the moon in your second house. Buying things on impulse, well, it's gonna catch up to you, because you're gonna have to see the tax man, or um your credit card bills will become due. And yeah, just make sure, if you do spend, that you have the means to do so, and you can pay off the credit card, or pay off the uh yeah, pay off whatever the loan, your debts. And so all these planets in your seventh house, well, uh, are not about you. It is your partner's values, their stability, their structure, their communication, and it's all seventh house stuff. So this is also money from your spouse to eighth house. Spousal money also. Things that joint bank accounts. Apparently, if you have a joint bank account with a partner. Uh, yeah. And we have, well, hey, actually, this is Jupiter at 17, still in a trine to the moon. Uh, so communication with, and your career, between your career and your money. So actually, yeah, actually, this Jupiter will bring abundance, but the moon, uh, even though Mercury and Jupiter are in a mutual reception, it's not great, because they're both in detriment. They're both Mercury's and also in fall. Uh, they're not in great condition here. So just make sure that what you want from your career and your reputation, and and your money, other people's money and values, and and your spouse, and people, one-to-one relationships with Mars in your 11th house of friends and benefactors. Not a great time to be very aggressive. Constructive is good. Make sure you're not burning down or drowning anybody in the process. All righty. Libra. Well, Libra, wow, this full moon is all about you. It's illuminating your emotions, how other people are feeling about you. Um actually, yes, the sun is in your seventh house, and the moon is in the first house. So this is about work, career, and purpose, and your higher purpose in life. Jupiter in your ninth house, which is making a mutual reception with Mercury. Mercury is in Jupiter's. Oh no, I'm sorry. Jupiter is in Mercury's sign, and Mercury is in Jupiter's sign. So that's how it's a mutual reception uh, here. And they're both detriment. Mercury is also in full for a few more days. I'll show that too. I did show that in a previous video of my April overview. But here's the full moon in the house of you. Other people will see and feel your emotions. um, will they align with how people see you and your philosophy, your religious beliefs, any beliefs, um, philosophical beliefs, um, your purpose? It's in the trine, so I think yes, it will. Other people value your opinion. They value you. All right, moving on to Scorpio. We have this full moon in your 12th house of self-undoing, uh, behind the scenes negotiations, like backdoor behind, like I would say boardroom, people that you don't see what you're doing in the boardroom, negotiations, offshore accounts, uh, dreams. You may have some very emotional dreams. And this is opposing the sun in the sixth house. So this is the actual full moon, 23 degrees, 20 minutes. Yay, we finally made it. With Scorpio rising and in Allentown, Pennsylvania, or the East Coast. Uh, we will have this sextile. Oh, yes, I forgot to mention the sextile. But okay, well, all right. That's for another video. But this is about this full moon, which is making a trine to Jupiter in the eighth house of other people's values, other people's money. Um, Taxes, death, uh, inheritance. Maybe you'll get something of offshore, or like something is being something emotional from behind the scenes with your eighth house of debt, taxes, other people's money, and inheritance, possibly from someone who's passed on from a past life, who's passed on um in a past life. This could also be past life regression. The moon, you're probably feeling things from the past coming back to you through meditation, through dreams, just even through daydreams, or just emotional down things that are coming to you like seem like from nowhere that just appear, or emotions that you can't explain. From the 8th to the 12th to your fifth, I'm sorry, to your fifth house, because there's a mutual reception between Mercury and Jupiter, also here, fifth and eighth house. Which is actually making a square, basically. Well, it's a by sign. They're a square by sign, not by degree. But that's not. Yeah, it's also building, making some tension here. It's not a great thing between the fifth and the eighth house, because there's probably the fifth house is creativity, children. This could be actually maybe your children's college fund, or your the loans you have to pay, your child's student loans, if they are going to like public or private school. This could be a things dealing with private schools. Like this is funds that you owe for all kinds of things: school debt, credit cards, loans. Um, and then we have these trine from the fifth to the ninth house. So maybe something you're doing creatively, maybe you're writing a book. It's a good time to edit a book or edit a project that you've been working on. You're creating something here, and it's trine Mars. Something constructive needs to be handled if you're publishing a book or a novel, or doing something for your higher purpose. It's not a good time to cut and sever things. Mars, it takes action in this house. It also can be destructive. We do not want to destroy anything that we are brings purpose to our lives. And the fifth house will help. Miss Trine is going to be very helpful. It'll be emotional and helpful. All righty. Scorpio, Sagittarius. Okay, thank you, Scorpio. Sagittarius. Well, this full moon on the 12th or 13th, depending on where you are, the will be in your 11th house of friends, gains, monetary gains from your fifth house, and entrepreneurial, something entrepreneurial from your career. Great gains. Well, you'll have an emotional, and maybe you'll have an emotional epiphany. Who knows? You'll have that aha moment. You'll be talking to people more. You'll be talking to in with your you'll be emotionally tied to your social groups, your friends who you care for deeply. Uh and care for you. Your friends will care who care for you deeply, who are your tribe, who bring you joy. The 11th house is the house of joy. So is the third. Uh Mercury is in the fourth. Okay. So there's a trine from these planets in Pisces, Venus, Saturn, Mercury, to Mars in your eighth. So fourth and eighth house. So this could be um uh negotiations with a home, something to deal with the home or a rental agreement. I've been there. I had to negotiate my loan or my lease agreement with my landlord, and it came out very well. Um, Also, other people's values, other people, uh, so yeah, other people have who debts, taxes, death. Well, Mars in the eighth house is taking some initiative here to make sure you have the means to pay your rent or your mortgage, eighth house mortgage for your home, fourth house, or rent, fourth house. If you're in a rental, if you're on a home, it's a good time for this. um, Sagittarius. And yeah, your friends, benefactors, and people who could deeply care for you, and you will deeply feel akin to people with whom you share like-minded uh endeavors. That's why you're friends, right? Or that's why you're in social group, because you share some things in common, or many things in common. It's a good thing to share a lot of things in common. The more things you have in common, the stronger the relationship. And there you go, Sagittarius. And Sagittarius, you are a very generous person anyway. And this is a great place. These are great placements for you, Sagittarius. Yeah, because it's going to bring more creativity, more communication, more abundance in your relationships, all relationships actually, with your spouse, your friends, and your actually, even if you're single, you can meet a lot of people if you're a single Sagittarius at this time. All right, Capricorn, this full moon is happening in your 10th house, Capricorn. You'll be feeling a lot of things with your in your career. with the people you work with. The Yeah, so that yeah, with people you work with, yes. Because the moon will try make a is going to make it still make a trine at 20 degrees in Jupiter. Yes. It's getting away from there, but that's because going into the 13th. So Capricorn, your 10th, 6th, well, of course, the 4th, because it opposes the full moon opposes your 4th house. Your 3rd house of your neighbors, neighborhood, siblings, especially one younger than you. If you have a younger sibling, this will be a very good time to uh, find common things. Uh, you might even be um, more structured and bring more structure to your neighborhood and your neighbors. Um, bringing like setting some strong boundaries here with Saturn. Uh, it's not going to be very good communicating with your neighbors at this time or your siblings. Mercury doesn't do well in Pisces. It doesn't see the details as well as any other sign. Any other sign. Mercury likes to be in air signs because Mercury is ruled by, or Virgo, Earth sign. The only Earth sign Mercury is ruled by, and Mercury is ruled by Gemini. 6th and 9th house. So yes, Capricorn. It's a good time for you to work diligently, get abundantly and clear with what you want out of your career emotionally, uh, and your home. Could be actually there's a good time. It's a good time for healing in your home and the third and your home and your environment, your familiar environment, like your neighborhood, places you go to regularly that you're familiar with, like the grocery store, places like that. Home Depot. Who knows? You may want to do that. Go there, and you will be actually feeling um, very good and bringing structure to these to your neighborhood and neighbors and people in locally will see that you are well setting boundaries, being showing your value and trying to communicate in the best way you can. They might not see or hear the details very clearly, but try your best, do the best you can until Mercury moves into Aries. Alrighty, Aquarius. Well, Aquarius, this full moon is in your 3rd house of, well, no, this moon is in your 9th house of higher education, book publishing, and I need to pause. Bye. Huh. All right, are we back? Or what, did I stop the recording? I thought I had, okay, well, I'm sorry, everybody. I'm all right. Back to Aquarius. I had to, yeah, well, I had to go somewhere. All righty, Aquarius. So your this trine from your second, this stellium of planets from your second house to your sixth, Mars in your sixth. So this is all about work and money, finances, and your um routines. Are you spending too much on your routine? Are you doing too much work, to taking too much action, doing too much? Well, actually, you'll probably be a workaholic here, taking action and uh, taking the initiative constructively. But remember not to burn the candle at both ends. I know it's probably be a great, it's a good time to be thinking of finances. You're placing boundaries on your finances. You're being very generous, um, structured, and detail communication may not be good, but actually you will make sure that you get your points across because the sun is illuminating your third house of writing, communications, and your ninth house of book publishing and higher learning. Um, so, and this is felt weeks before the full moon, even mm, into the next month and beyond. Yeah. This full moon, it will be felt for some time. And Venus is in her exaltation here in the second house, feeling very good, being structured, as I said, which is in the Mercury is in a mutual reception with your creativity, your children, um, and a hobby, an artistic project, abundant, bringing a lot of abundance here, which is making a trine to this full moon. The full moon is making a trine to Jupiter at this time for Aquarius. It's not at the, it doesn't showing that now, but this will be the full moon is at 20 degrees. It's ahead, moved ahead because we're in Aquarius. And I just just imagine the moon is at 20 degrees instead of 26 degrees. All right. I think that's good. Now, Pisces. Well, Pisces, you're coming into your own here. You're being more, Venus is bringing value, you're showing you your value, your worth. What's your worth? Saturn is bringing in that you need to set boundaries with other people, other people place boundaries on you. Either way, your communication will be Um, detail the details in your communication will not be very good, but communicating, elaborating on what you want to say and how you say it. Um, is not going to be easy. So when Mercury moves into Aries in the second house, that'll be different. Communication will be about money, but this is about you. Communication is about you, yourself. And this fifth house to the first house is interesting. So this is about you, your passion, what you're passionate about, what you are makes you happy is your fifth house. Whatever the house of fun, it's the house of uh speculation. It's the house of gambling, the house of children. The fifth house could even be uh, um, hobbies and endeavors, career, business endeavors, small business endeavors too. What your passions are. Fifth house, Cancer, Mars, taking the initiative to create something that means something to you, that you're passionate about. Make sure you are passionate about it and take the initiative. And Mars can also destroy your initiative and what you're passionate about, but take that positive side of Mars, of initiating, doing something constructive instead of destructive, cutting and severing. It's also good to edit projects, what doesn't work, what needs to be worked on. And yeah, actually don't. And actually, it's a good time for Pisces to also not to post any um aggression onto your children or any child or your or like, yeah, and don't be overly aggressive in a casual relationship. I think that's all I have for you right now. Well, the moon, oh, did I say the moon? Oh, talk about the full moon in your eighth house of other people's money, taxes, debts, death, uh, inheritance. This is going to be an emotional time. Uh, yeah, with money situation, um, and your finances. You may be feeling very uneasy here between your second and eighth house with this full moon in Libra and the sun in Aries. The eighth and second are all about money and finances and the means to pay those off the debts that you purchase and the food that you eat, the um things, the shelter, the things that you accumulate. uh Second house is possessions. The eighth house is other people's possessions, other people, yeah, do share a shared bank account, a joint bank account, credit card debt. pay, do you have the means to pay them off? I would be very, very sure about yourself, which you are. Saturn's been in your first house for a long time, teaching you how to place boundaries, what boundaries need to be placed, where they need to be placed, and all that. So yes, actually, I think that's all I have for you. Oh, I also wanted to share. Venus is no longer in retrograde. See, as of the 12th, I will go back in hours and I'll show you exactly when Venus goes direct. Because as we were talking about this, Venus moved direct on the 12th at around 9 something on the East Coast. Let's go back minutes to exactly when, oops, Venus moves direct at 9:02 p.m. So after this, the 12th and the 13th on the East Coast, in the United States, or the 13th to the 14th in Europe, it's tax season here in the United States. I'm not sure, I'm not certain about Europe. Do they have a tax season? I don't know. If you do, let me know in the comments below this video, and that would be great to know. But here in the United States, tax day is April 15th. So it's a few days before tax season. So if you're working on your taxes, anytime, yes, your values, your everything, it's, yeah, your structure, how you structure things in your whatever house Saturn is for you, whatever house Pisces is for you. Mercury will be going direct into Aries on the, let's see, on the what, 15th, 16th, 16th of April. Mercury will move into Aries the day after tax season in the United States. Okay, with that said, make sure you're dotting all the I's, making sure you're looking at all the details before you send out your taxes. All right, with that, I am going to stop my share and I'm going to wish you all good luck on this full moon and what it brings to each of you. And wow, that was over an hour. And something, yeah. Because in the beginning, I just went through some major things before I went through every sign. All right, I'm Stephen the Jupiterian. Hit the like button, hit the thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here. Place it, put a comment below this video and share it with your friends. Let them know things about astrology, share it. Just share the video if you're so inclined to do so. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. And I'm sorry for the little pause, which I thought I stopped recording. Oops. Alrighty. Take care, everybody. Bye.